Here are the horoscopes for the week of the 2nd to the 8th of September 2019. We have lots of subtle shifts and changes all through the week, so we'll go through them one by one. Nothing huge, but really important to just keep focused day by day on the energies that are available to us. So as we know, last week we had the new moon in Virgo, and this was pretty epic because we've got the Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus and Mars all in the 10th house in Virgo. So really lighting up where we put our energy, what our purpose is, what we're giving, what we're contributing, and also the rewards that should come back to us as a result of that. So they call the 10th house the house of career, but if you look at the word career, it actually means to tear around out of control. So I don't tend to use that word or the word work so much, but have a think about where you take all that you are and where you can direct that. So it's the stars that were above us when we were born. That's what the midheaven and the 10th house is all about. Where can we direct all that we are and give it to the world and receive that reward in response as well, in that feedback loop. So with 5 relatively nearby planets all activating that place in the chart at the new moon in Virgo, we are really being called to take all that we are, to understand what we are, what we want, and to be able to direct that to something purposeful and make our contribution to the world. And that very much is the theme for the whole of this week. So on Monday we have the Sun and Mars together. So the Sun is our soul force energy and Mars is where we take our soul force energy and direct it upwards. If you just look at the symbols, that's what they're telling us. So as usual, perfect timing for this, and I feel that one of the biggest obstacles to success in life is not knowing what you want. Because how can you take your soul force energy and direct it upwards if you don't know what your soul force energy is, if you don't know what you want to put your energy into? So Virgo is a super energetic and productive sign, with all of these planets really urging us to know what we want, know where we're going. Not so much with the planning attachment mind, but from the heart, as Venus is very active this week as well. So the Sun and Mars only meet every 2 years, so you could have a think back, because sometimes when we don't know where we'd like to direct forwards, it's best to take a step back. So where were you at this point 2 years ago? What new plans and projects and passions did you initiate at this time? Take a step back, have a look at the rewards that you've got for that. Or if you haven't got the rewards, because another big aspect at the moment is wasting our energy. So if you haven't got the rewards for the energies that you've put into something, then maybe that's not for you, or maybe you're not excited about it enough, or it was coming from an old plan. So it might be time to update your energy CV. And that's very much what a chart reading is in this format, where we have a look at all of your talents, have a look at all of your passions, and help you direct that into something worthwhile. So an energy CV is one aspect of your soul plan birth chart. So on Monday, looking back, seeing where we have succeeded, where we haven't succeeded, where our passion really is rather than where we think it is, and to really align with your soul plan. That's really the essence of this week, possibly this month. On Tuesday we have Venus square Jupiter. So a square is a difficult aspect, but it's there to be figured out. It's not just there to annoy us, it's there for us to actually work with both sides of the equation. So things won't grow unless we've got heart in it. So if Venus is our heart and Jupiter is our amplification of our solar power, then how can something amplify, how can something succeed if our heart's not in it? So another reckoning there to make sure that we're actually heart-centred in what it is that we want to do, and then come from that place in our planning, but most importantly in our dreaming. So a bit of a trap to fall too much into the planning controlling mind at the moment, but to dream into the passion of what we really love and where we're coming from is the solution to Venus square Jupiter, and then we can amplify from there. By Wednesday we have Venus opposition Neptune. And this is a deeply spiritual aspect. Venus is the earth female and where we plant our soul force energy and produce with it. And Neptune is like a high priestess. She's the channel for the feminine divine energies. So really lovely alignment there. Oppositions are often very harmonic, even though it doesn't sound like it. But we're being called to raise up our tone, to feel our spiritual vibration, and maybe look at the spiritual aspect of our plans so that we're not just living in the mundane, consumerist or popularity contest or whatever it is, that some mundane plans can just be about us and succeeding and what we can get and the attention that we might get, or the applause or whatever, but with Venus opposite Neptune, can you now focus on Wednesday on the spiritual soul of your plans, because this is really what's going to be successful going forwards. And then we can apply ourselves with grace and devotion. Things are fairly quiet on Thursday, so a bit of a breather there, and we can wrap up all the things that have happened over the last couple of weeks. But just to remember that Virgo isn't all about working. Virgo is actually about perfection. So our natural state is perfection, and then the mind comes along and the story comes along and gets in the way and tries to convince us that we're not. But our body has an ability to heal itself. If we get out of the way, we have a natural state of perfection. It's only the stresses and strains and psychologies that come along and make that imperfect. So maybe just a meditation there on Thursday on your natural state of perfection, realigning to that and having a look at anything that is out of alignment with that, probably going to be found in the mind. By Friday we have the Sun trine Saturn, so we're starting to build something now that's worthwhile. Starting to look at the possibilities. We've centred in the core, and we've gone back to the heart and the spirit of where we're putting our energy, and now the Sun can energise that as we start to build our hopes and dreams. Then 3 aspects on the weekend, so quite a busy weekend. We have Venus trine Pluto, which is about empowerment and confidence. So not having to engage in power plays with others, not having to judge or put anybody else down, but to really take our own power back. Because life is a lot more harmonious if we do our own inner work and we create our own inner power, and then we don't have to have those psychologies and situations with other people. So maybe have a look in your life. Is there something that's out of the power balance? Are you being the victim, playing the victimised role? Somebody else is having power over you? Or are you abusing your power towards people and a situation in order to feel validated or justified? And can you find that source deep within? Then we have Mercury opposite Neptune, so a little bit confusing one there for the mind, which is a good thing because we all lead with the mind a lot too much in this life. We're going to have to feel into our intuition rather than relying on the rational, logical planning, pushing, controlling brain. Bit of a mini Mercury retrograde, if you will, there, but really helping us align to that spiritual resonance. And this may take us back to Wednesday when we were looking at the spiritual purpose of our plans, so we can turn the mind off now and really tune in a lot more deeply with that aspect. So maybe revisit those Wednesday meditations and insights to see if you can go deeper. And then finally we have the Sun square Jupiter on Sunday as well. So, detail versus the bigger picture is really harmonic with this, where we have that life force energy, but again, if it's not being amplified, if it's being blocked, then have a look at where are we hiding our own light, where are we not confident in our own light? Can we go in and find those details and erase them so that this vision, this plan, this passion, this dynamism has got the room to expand out. So we're in a bit of a holding pattern with some of these squares, but only because if we were allowed to expand too quickly, we might be wearing ourselves out, going in all directions or off target. So Jupiter there wants us to make sure that we're actually really centred in the soul of everything, so that when we do expand, it's from our natural perfection, it's from our passion, it's from our spiritual purpose, and we can then begin to act upon that. So as you can see, lots of energy this week, mostly things that we can focus on day by day, which is really the point of astrology. It's not supposed to be some personality test. It's supposed to be like a weather forecast. What can we tune into day by day to make the most of these time windows that open? But then also, very importantly, where is this happening in our chart? So I do encourage you to learn your chart. There's a video on my YouTube channel called Get Your Chart, where you can actually get that by entering your details. But I wouldn't really bother reading the text underneath, because that's of that personality level writing. But once you've got your chart, then you can start to follow along and see where this is happening for you. I also have online courses that can help you, and those are available one-to-one as well. So you can either do the online course remotely with notes and a video, or you can come and go through it with me online or in person. And the same goes for having a chart reading as well. So as we engage with all of this Virgo energy, as we go back to school, this is the perfect time for a course of study, and I do really recommend soul astrology as a life-changing focus, because you can do this for yourself. It's not that difficult, and I'd love to be able to meet you and help you and explore with you to build your confidence and to unlock your soul plan. So for any of that, please do contact me, zoehines7@gmail.com. I post daily on Facebook at AstroZo, Instagram at zoehines7. These videos are available on my YouTube channel, Zoe Astro, where there are other playlists as well of useful archive. My website has all my details, www.astrozo.com. So those are the horoscopes for this week, and I'll see you next week.